She calls it the Amazon of the hair care industry and is used by major players like Nordstrom and Ulta Beauty. Introducing you to the entrepreneur who built the software company that investors are raving about behind the scenes right now at the Nasdaq. Hello everyone, this is Jabbar Young, senior writer at Forbes here at the Nasdaq MarketSite, and I am joined by Candace Mitchell. She is the CEO of Atlanta-based software company Myavana. Now this is a software company, just came off of a capital raise, and it recommends the best hair care products using its internal algorithms and machine learning based off of real life hair strands. Candace, welcome to the Nasdaq.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. Now listen, we're at the stock exchange. You got to give me a stock that you maybe want to buy, that you may own already, that's done well by you, or that you know, and curious about. What's the stock?
I think it's going to be Myavana soon.
Myavana
yes.
soon. I like that. See, I thought you were going to say Ulta Beauty, traded right here at the Nasdaq.
And Ulta, exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, we've enjoyed partnering with them so much.
Yeah.
They are leaders in digital innovation within beauty, so we align so well together, and I'm so excited to partner with Ulta.
Absolutely. And you're coming at a time where we are celebrating Black Business Month, right? In August, and for us to be okay, we have this journalism series. We call it Road to Economic Empowerment, right? When you think of small businesses, everybody wants to be big, and so these conversations talking about impacting small businesses and the things that entrepreneurs can teach us about how they jump-started their enterprise. And that's why I'm glad to talk to you, right? Because again, behind the scenes, your investors are raving about your software product. But before we get into that, right, again, Black Business Month, give me that figure in the Black community that, you know, really stood out from a business lens that, you know, again, had an impact on you. And it doesn't have to be a celebrity.
Yes, well, definitely for me, it was Madam C.J. Walker. Being a pioneer in the hair care industry for hair care products, I really identify with that as a technologist, but building next generation technology that could really help us with the unique compositions of our hair. As women of color, women of all ethnicities, your hair is as unique as your fingerprint. So seeing how she paved the way for the products that we needed at that time, I think for this generation and the future of hair care, Myavana is really standing on her shoulders and building the technology for the future. And I also think about my grandparents. My grandfather, he was such a legacy for his community. Recently mentioned in a book, Ascension, he said that I may not leave you a lot of money, but I'll leave you a good name. And it really taught me the importance of what you're building in the name of your family, your legacy, and how that passes on to generations as well. I think that's a pillar for our community too.
Yeah, love to hear it, love to hear it. Well, listen, let's get into Myavana, right? The news is you recently closed on a $5.9 million raise, right? Ulta Beauty being an investor, HL Ventures, another investor. I had a chance to talk to Oliver Liberty, managing partner over there, phenomenal guy, telling me about the company. And so that's a $6.2 million that you've raised so far since starting the company around 2012. That's right.
Yes.
Phenomenal. So listen, this is up from $20 million valuation in May 2021, according to PitchBook. So take me inside the raise. What are you going to do with the funds, and how is it going to expand Myavana?
Yes, well, first of all, I must say that it's been a journey to get here. It was not easy for me to raise venture capital in the beginning because no one really understood our market. And we were really 10 years ahead of the industry. But over the years, the right investors have come to the table. A lot of them started out as our own friends and family who became angel investors in the business. And recently, the venture funds that actually really solidified our technology in the B2B space. And so a lot of that capital really went into building our own proprietary systems, technology that we now license to enterprise companies globally, and really establishing the digital infrastructure for the hair industry so that everyone can now have a digital hair profile, and know exactly which products are best to use. And that has taken so much research and development. Training our own AI systems with our own microscopic hair images. I mean, we've been in the lab for a very long time, and our investors have helped make that possible, especially when a lot of people didn't really understand how important this is for our culture.
Well, take me inside of the technology, right? What is the software? Because talking to you on the phone last week, and you were saying this, you can take your hair strand, and because the lenses on iPhones, right, have become so accurate. We'll get into that in a minute. But this technology can actually look at your hair to determine what products are the best, right? And you don't have products, which is that's why it's trustworthy, right? Because you're actually steering these people to products which is going to best foot their hair. Like, what is that software? How is it determining what's best?
Yes, when I was going natural in college and really having a hard time figuring out, like, why is this cream drying my hair out? And asking my friends and my sisters, I thought to myself, there must be a science to this. Because I'm a computer scientist, and to me, I felt like there were a lot more variables involved than what this label is telling me. And so I knocked on professors' doors, got some lab space, and I literally started looking at hair strands under the microscope. Just reading these cosmetic journals. I mean, that's how we had to get to the root of the matter, no pun intended. But what I saw was so intriguing to me, and the fact that we all have unique compositions of texture, type, and condition. So you're more than a 4C, you're more than just wavy hair. There's so many other variables involved, as well as external variables like the weather, like seasonal changes, even hormonal changes, your mood that day. There's so many things that affect how we express ourselves, but also how our hair is like reacting to the environment. And so to me, the light bulb went off. I was like, okay, well, I can just write an algorithm that matches the variables in your hair strands to the variables in products that will work best for your hair. And that eliminates the trial and error, and that became my baby at the time. I entered my first pitch competition, and it was so funny because when I pitched my heart out, I looked at the judges, everyone was white bald men. And then I had to explain the whole natural hair movement and the fact that now there's so many women rediscovering their hair. We're rediscovering who we are at the same time. Our identity is so connected to our hair. And now all these beautiful textures and curl patterns are all showing up, and we were all figuring it out. A lot of time on YouTube, but now we have something that's scientifically based and proven to match you to the best products for your hair.
And this is all women, right? That's what's unique about it, because originally I'm thinking, okay, well, it was only black women that caused the issue, but this is all women that it can determine the product for.
Yes, even men too.
Well, not me, I don't have any hair, so.
I'll let you know when we get there.
Please do that.
For now, I mean, a lot of guys are growing out their hair, wearing curlier hair, and we just evolved as our customer base evolved, right? Obviously, at first, we were solving our own problems as black women. We have the greatest texture variety out of any ethnicity in the world. But as our customer base grew, we saw people of all ethnicities, people from other countries. And so we realized that, we really just want to focus on hair, global textures, because that's what's really amazing too, is seeing the unique hair IDs of different cultures around the world, what products they need, what products are distributed there, which products need to be there. Now our recommendation system can tell us all of these things. And so the data about hair is the most intriguing thing to us across all ethnicities, genders, and just mastering healthy hair care.
Now, the way it makes money, it's a software as a service company, right? It's a software service again. So you're making money through licensing fees. You have about 50,000 subscribers for the actual app and the programs you offer through that, the tiers, right? And so again, you also have that data that you're able to leverage, and the health benefits that can be unlocked from that. Get into that in 1 minute again. And talking to one of your investors, I said, hey, if you could describe the company in one word, they said, we'll give you two. Unexpected, right? Because it's a beauty company that appears, it's like a beauty company you think, but it's a technology company behind the scenes. And then he also said foundational, because of, again, those layers of data that you're sitting on. You agree with those terms?
Yes, absolutely. I love those terms because we are a new innovation in the industry that really was born out of a problem, a necessity. But it's unexpected because we've been building behind the scenes for so long and really gathering the data, analyzing the hair ourselves, building our own, libraries of hair images. That was very important to us because we wanted to master the art of what we're bringing to the industry that's very unique, which is the first hair product recommendation system. It's brand agnostic, we're neutral, we recommend all brands on the market, and that's how we really build that trust. But then understanding how your hair transforms over time, what products are needed next. We really wanted to perfect that. We built our own master product database. I mean, everything is really built from the ground up. And it is really first of its kind. It's very unique. And I think that it's also what we've been waiting for, because technology did have to mature, going back to the smartphone cameras, we knew that was going to be our key way to automate this. And so now you can subscribe to Myavana through our app, and you get constant recommendations throughout your hair journey. So we wanted to get to that, but now that we have all this data, It is so valuable, especially to all of our partners that we work with, because we want everyone to plug into Myavana. And that's what we call Powered by Myavana.
Yeah, you want to explain again how you came up with that term, Myavana? It's my hair nirvana?
Exactly, yes. So Myavana means my nirvana, and it really is that place where you love your hair, you love yourself, you feel confident, you're at peace. And we realize that that's ultimately what people are striving for, you know, because natural hair has often been referred to as a struggle, right? Like all the forums, all the blogs, all the chats is, you know, we're just struggling. I'm like, okay, don't you want to liberate and break free at some point and actually love your hair, but most importantly, love yourself, because Myavana is also about helping people become their best self. Because you know, once you look in the mirror, you love who you are, your hair is popping, you feel great. Like, that's a very special moment. We call that nirvana. And it's my nirvana because it's personalized to you. And that is the difference, the transformation that we're bringing to market.
I had to discover a new nirvana, life without hair. But what's it like being CEO of a company, especially one that you're, again, trying to build, trying to convince investors? Again, you landed Ulta Beauty. That's a major investor right there. But what's it like to be CEO of a company like this?
Whew, it is a hard task. I'm not even going to try to dumb that down at all. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of responsibility. You know, it could be lonely at times too, because I was really pioneering at the same time. And so having people constantly not understand what you're talking about, and kind of challenging your belief, challenging your faith, you know, that was a daily walk. So I had to really tap into my spiritual side to really endure and stay resilient, because it takes a lot of resilience to be a CEO, especially of a tech company that's changing an industry. And being so far ahead for so many years, you really feel alone, because you're like, hey, the industry's headed this way and everyone's still back here. So, you know, that takes out of your comfort zone, right? So, but I always feel that, you know, everyone needs to break free from their comfort zone at some point in time in your life, right? And I just decided, you know, my opportunity to do that was to start this company and really believe in a dream that I've had, a God-given dream, that, you know, I can endure and bring something like this to life.
Yeah, well, that's perfect flashback, right? We can take you back to your original dream, right? You grew up in Atlanta, right? Stone Mountain, Georgia, right outside there. And so what was that like? You're the oldest of three, have sisters, and your mom. What was that like growing up in Stone Mountain, and what do you like about being the oldest? I'm the oldest, I hate it.
Really, I honestly love it. It was very fun in our neighborhood, because I think that one thing, you know, about being in Atlanta is we have our own vibe, our own scene, and we are not afraid to express our creativity. However that comes out through music, through film, through arts, through sports. I mean, we have so much that we can go into. And I went to Stevenson High School, so we were really kind of best at class at everything. And I just, you know, just happened to want to focus on technology. Because I felt like there was something there, you know, when we got our first computer and I dived into the world of Microsoft, and that was kind of my world, but you can really find your world in Atlanta, and that's what I love. And pioneering the tech scene there as well, Atlanta as an ecosystem that's now growing significantly and being at the forefront of that. I feel like, you know, how they say Atlanta influences everything. It's very real, but it's because we bring our uniqueness to a lot of genres, a lot of fields, and I love that about us.
Absolutely. And so you grow up down that way, and then you wanted to go to Georgia Institution of Technology, Georgia Tech, and you eventually land there. What was your major?
Yes, I majored in computer science.
Computer science. Well, what did you want to be at that point, right?
At that point, I wanted to be the next Bill Gates.
The next Bill Gates, right? Because at age 10, you put together your family's computer by just following directions. But you wanted to be the next Bill Gates. Like that's, you don't really think about that at age 10. Like you want to be a firefighter or something. But
I know, right? Yeah, everyone, you know, kind of mentioned the traditional fields, but I knew that there was something behind this path of technology and entrepreneurship. Because the thing about Microsoft was that it was the first of its kind type of company in that software era, and how they all went to market differently and established their lanes in different ways. And, you know, it just happened to be Microsoft had all the software applications that were running on our computers. And so I thought to myself, man, I want to build something that's running on, you know, multiple computers, and not knowing that it would be phones by the time that we're, in the industry, and now, having Myavana right at your fingertips, you kind of really understand how technology paves the way for the future. So I really felt like, okay, I want to think of something that could really solve like a future need or problem. And it wasn't until I connected it to my own problem in this own market that we have, I'm like, okay, this is it. So that was just my path.
Yeah. Well, you go through those stages of, again, you don't just come out because you work at Pepsi for a little bit before you find your entrepreneurial journey and IT, right? What was that journey like working at Pepsi?
Well, first everyone thought I was a trader, right? Because Atlanta is the world of Coke, and I fully acknowledge that. But I was deeply inspired by the CEO of Pepsi at the time, Indra Nooyi, one of the only minority women to lead a Fortune 500 company at the time. I believe there were only 2 at the time. And I just loved this mantra about performance with purpose, and that we can bring our purpose into business, because then we make it more about just making money. We can build wealth that also makes an impact as well. And so I really gravitated to that, and I wanted to learn, what it was like to, be a part of a multi-billion-dollar, company like that. And it wasn't until I was recruiting and kind of getting back to my love, going back to tech and kind of, thinking about this hair idea again, that I felt like, okay, maybe the journey for me could be into entrepreneurship at some point. I just think it would be that soon into my career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, and that's why, I love your journey, right? I mean, you really took your time, and that's what your investors love about you. They say, listen, you look at it on the surface, it's a $50 million company. Most people say, oh, that's not, but she took her time to build it, right? And you were ahead of the curve because you studied how humans would interact with machines, and here we are interacting with machines probably more intimately than ever because of generative AI. But you put your company through Flashpoint, right? And that was startup for engineering and things of that nature. But one of the things that on that journey, as you put your Myavana through that, they made you test your hypothesis. They made you say, go and prove that this is going to work. How did that help you? And then you also got $35,000 at Jumpstart. How did Flashpoint, that program, how did that really help you?
Yes, that was our first seed investment, and I just have so much gratitude for my professor at the time, Merrick First, who started Flashpoint and really challenged us to find authentic demand. And it was challenging because when you start, you think that your idea is the best thing ever. But it really forced us to really talk to our customers first and really understand their problems. And so we actually interviewed over 1,000 women about their hair during that program, and what we discovered was so much greater than hair products. We really discovered, this really internal engine that's driving these journeys that customers are on. And we see that through our hair, but there's something amazing about the journey of the person and how that changes over time, which impacts our recommendations and kind of building that into Myavana. And so it was very, very tough to get there, but once we got to that point, it's like, okay, now we know the why of our business, right? We know why we are called to serve this market in particular, and now we can, again, carry that purpose through all the changes and the ups and downs, because I took my time because a lot of times things were slow, and I could do nothing but, just trust the process. And even with waiting for technology to advance, because we analyzed hair strands manually for many years in the lab, before we could get to a process where we could automate that and then scale the business. So there are a lot of tough periods, but again, I always felt like, okay, there's some lesson in this that will allow us to get to the next level, or in some cases pivot. We've pivoted several times. I think a lot of people can attest to that, because again, we had to find out what people really wanted, needed, their perception of everything, and again, really understand our customer, and how to design technology that could perform in a way that meets all the needs, that again, it allows us to build that vision that we really see, but put it in the customer's hands and allow them to walk with us through that product experience.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no secret that, attracting capital, especially when you're a black woman, is very tough. Less than 2% goes, venture capital goes to people of color, women as well. If you had to talk to that entrepreneur sitting in front of your face right now about what barriers of entry they can expect, especially going into a software, industry, what would you kind of tell them?
Yeah, I would say you really need to discover your secret sauce and own it. IP is everything in terms of what really sets products apart, and also what your product roadmap and your strategy is. So we focus a lot on IP for a while, so that we can really nail down what we're inventing. We can document it, because now we're licensing it to major companies. And when our council looks at all these major corporations that I'm now bringing these agreements to review and commercialization agreements, and our IP has to be strong in order to be a part of our licensing strategy. And so that was very interesting in terms of seeing what other companies were claiming, and understanding what is our unique mark that we're making that could compete against a L'Oreal or a P&G or whatever the case may be. And it just so happened to be that our partnership model really allowed us to have the right model and strategy to work with everyone, but also have our unique thing that we own in terms of licensing Myavana, how that now allows you to bring personalization into your customer experience.
Powerful platform. You do not land a customer like Nordstrom's or a client like that unless unless your tech is really that good. Hey, listen, get you out of here. A couple things, because you're a CEO, you got to get back to it in Atlanta, right? Listen, the next 10 years for Myavana, if you had to just give me one word to describe what that's going to be, what that's going to look like, what word would that be? Somebody said to me, Myavana Health, watch out for it. It could be coming. They taking his hair strands. They have all of this data. It could very well lead to health.
That's very much true. I would definitely say transformation.
Transformation.
That is the impact of Myavana in terms of our technology transforming the industry, but also transforming the person. So we're starting with hair, but there's a lot that you can learn about your health from your hair as well. And when we look at the hair challenges people are reporting, there's a lot of health factors that contribute that we really want to be able to impact our customers in a very meaningful way as well. And there's so many other categories that, again, focusing on the person, how their journey evolves, what does skincare look like? What does fashion look like? What does beauty look like? And we're really doing that through our partnerships and our hair and beauty network. And I think that, 10 years from now, we will see the transformation that Myavana is bringing to the world.
Yeah. Generative AI, when you hear the word, right, it's a buzzword, right? What would you tell small businesses to prepare for when they hear that? You're a computer scientist.
Absolutely.
Generative AI, a small business, should they be scared of it? What should they be preparing for?
I would say, I told y'all it was coming. I would say, think about it as your co-pilot. We're in, again, a world where we need to partner with technology to make our lives easier.
Yeah.
So that's the good side of AI that I still believe in, because AI is meant to automate our lives in ways where we can spend our time doing the things that we're really called to do, not the manual task, right? Not the searching, the repetitive things. So figure out how to use it as a tool, as a part of your daily experience that can make your life easier. But also fight for the things that are not so great. And there's a lot of policy work happening that I think is very valid and very necessary. But figure out how you'll coexist and really be a part of what I call like the good AI army.
Absolutely. Listen, you are a CEO, U.S. presidential race, without choosing sides. You paying attention to anything, economic policy? What do you want to hear from the candidates? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. I think, economic liberty is something that is very, very necessary. There are a lot of ways in a lot of areas where communities have been oppressed, financially for many years. And so I think economic justice has to be a part of every policy. And I think that we need to just, again, bring our moral compass back into things, right? A lot of people are fighting for different rights, but morally, what is the best way, to govern people? What is the best way to really make sure that people do live in a fair, just world, and really keep that at the forefront?
Absolutely. Get you out of here on this, right? Good to Great, Jim Collins' book, right? One of my favorite business books, Good to Great. What is the difference between a good software company and a great one?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say a great one is really centered on purpose.
Centered on purpose.
Yes, a good one, may make a lot of money. It may, have a lot of customers, but a great one is really operating in purpose and is also making the world better by how it exists.
Absolutely. Candace Mitchell, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Myavana, right? A company to look out for.
Absolutely.
Happy Black Business Month as well.
Happy Black Business Month. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Hope to have you back at the Nasdaq for your IPO.
Listen, that's when I'll be back, okay?
Absolutely. That's when you'll be back. Appreciate it. Candace Mitchell, Myavana, Jabbar Young, thank you so much for watching.